Anyway, Fiona Hill denounced today in her testimony. I was just fascinated listening to this woman. She was a little bit hard to understand through my television. I think it was her um, I don't know, maybe it's just the sound on my TV, but she was a little bit, you had to listen closely. Uh, but she denounced what she called the fictional narrative. All this bullshit that Giuliani and Trump and right wing Breitbart media, Sean Hannity, Fox fuckers, all these people have ginned up in order to hand this country over to Russia. And as far as Sean Hannity, that little shit should be. I don't know. If I had the money, I would buy. I would buy Fox and fire the little bastard. But all the lies and these insane theories, conspiracy theories that these fuckers have ginned up in order to support this criminal in the White House. This is what Fiona Hill was warning against. She denounced this narrative, the one embraced by Trump and his allies, that Ukraine, not Russia, Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election, even though all 17 of our national security agencies, from the FBI to through all of them, they all agreed because it would be asinine not to. That it was the Russians who tried to get Trump elected and succeeded. And succeeded. This is a Russian plant, Trump. What a, oh God. Anyway, she testified that the claim at the center of the impeachment inquiry, the claim by the Republicans that it was Ukraine and not Russia that interfered in the 2016 elections is a lie and a fabrication put together by Putin and his former KGB buddies in order to harm the United States by getting this fucking Trump elected. And they succeeded. The question going forward is, what are we going to do about it? Now, I have suggestions that I dare not say, but short of what I have in mind, I don't think there's a Republican in the Senate that has any of their Christian decency that they're willing to draw on and remove this fucker when the case is finally presented to them, when the impeachment is handed off to them. There's not a single Republican in the Senate who has the moral decency that you would find in a dead cockroach. They just don't. I don't know where this gang came from. These are all baby boomers, most of them. Maybe that's it. Okay, boomer. Maybe that's it. But all these white millionaire men, Republican neo-fascists in the Senate, and the women, they're not going to vote for impeachment. And I can't, I mean removal from office. I can't understand this. I am still trying to get my mind around why the 100 or so Democrats in the House, the ones that this little fucker Devin Nunes keeps saying, well, it's all been secret down in the vault somewhere. No, it hasn't, you lying little bastard. Of the 100 or so Republican members of the House who have heard all of the testimony, all of the depositions, everything, and they just sit there on their hands, rather than realizing that in so doing, they are enabling, they are constructing the demolition of this country. How do they do this? Is it the religion thing? Is it the race thing? This Jews will not replace us, or you will not replace us. Is that what's floating through these white, wealthy, neo-fascist males that control the Senate? Is that what they're afraid? Is it the Christian thing? I cannot stand the hypocrisy. I cannot stand the deceit, the immorality, the lack of ethics, the cowardice of every one of these Republican white senators. Mostly the males, but the women too. I haven't heard a fucking word from any of the female white senators. Not a word. in the Republican side. Not a word. Fiona Hill, who testified today, the final day of the week's public impeachment hearings, and whether or not there are going to be more public testimony hasn't been determined yet, apparently. But she tied Trump's pressure campaign on Ukraine to this dangerous effort by Russia to, and they succeeded, to sow political divisions in the United States and undercut the country. Now, we've said it before. Many people have said it. People have been following this to the degree that I have or you have. That this fascist prick, Vladimir Putin, this dirty son of a bitch, Vladimir Putin, has pulled off. I've got mixed emotions about this because Putin has pulled off perfectly what he set out to do, to cause so much dissension and division in this country. And we will find out soon when we have our next election how successful he really was. But he has caused Americans to hate each other across this divide. Now, we have done this before. And I'm not referring to what that little bastard, the acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, said. I'm not referring to that. We have destabilized governments, the U.S. has. We have overthrown leaders. We have buggered up somebody's currency. We have planted rumors to destabilize various societies. We've done all this shit. And one of the things that's been singularly irritating to me during these hearings is to hear people constantly, on both sides, constantly talking about the purity of the United States. Give me a fucking break. We're survivors, our form of government, but pure, honest, horseshit. We have survived in spite of, not because of, the machinations of our secret agencies and our government agencies down through time. And that's the fucking truth. Whether you want to accept it or not is immaterial. Whether I want to accept it or not is immaterial. I've mentioned so many times on this program some of the more glaring, obvious examples of U.S. Agencies that have openly, and sometimes surreptitiously overthrown governments, duly elected governments of other countries, not using social media, because there wasn't social media, but using disruptive tactics that have thrown societies into total fucking chaos. And we continue to do it. It doesn't make any difference who's president or what party's in charge. It's something that we have done. Now, if you can't accept that, if you accept the bullshit, oh, America is only pure. Of course, this is a good country. It has its good aspects, its political system. The political system itself, and I think we all know this, if it were adhered to, liberty and justice for all, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Gag me with a fucking Constitution. Are you kidding me? If we really subscribed to the documents that attempted to define and lay out who we were going to be, the documents put together 200 plus years ago, this country would be great. But we have failed. We have failed miserably. We fail every fucking day.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.